Lesson 16 Modals Overview. Modals Overview. In this lesson, I am going to give you an overview of the modal verbs. An overview of the modal verbs in order to recognize them. In order only to recognize them. We will talk about them in a longer way in the next lesson. In lesson 17, we will study the modals one by one, but here I am going to give you just an overview of the modals in order to distinguish and to recognize them. There are 9 modal verbs. There are 9 modal verbs. Must, might, may, will, would, can, could, shall, and should. There are 9 modal verbs. You have to recognize them. You have to know them. Or you should memorize them. Must, might, may, will, would, can, could, shall, and should. Rules for how to use modals. How to use modals. Number 1. Infinitives come after modal verb but without to. You might have heard infinitive. What is infinitive? Infinitive is to plus verb. To plus verb. To plus verb. But verb or infinitives come after modal verbs without to. Without to. For example, I might eat pizza. I might eat pizza. Eat is an infinitive, but without to. I might eat pizza. I might eat pizza. Might is what? Is a modal verb. Or I can play the guitar. I can play the guitar. Can is a modal verb. Play is an infinitive without to. Is an infinitive without to. Is a verb base. Number 2. Modal verbs take no s in the third person singular. Modal verbs take no s in the third person singular. In present simple, for singular subjects, you have to add s to the verb. For example, she likes, he likes, it likes. But for the modal, you will never add s because modal verbs never take s in the third person singular. For example, she must live. She must live. This is the modal without s. Modal verbs never take s. He should study. He should study. This is a singular subject and it doesn't take the third person singular s. Modals never take the s. Number 3. Modal verbs do not change their form according to tense. Do not change their forms according to tense. It means in present, past and future, they have the same form. They have the same form. Number 4. We use modal verbs in negative sentences as we do without auxiliary verbs. We use modal verbs in negative sentences without auxiliary verbs. Without auxiliary verbs do. For example, do. For example, I might eat pizza. If you make it negative, you don't use do. You just say, I might not eat pizza. I might not eat pizza. Number 5. We use modal verbs in interrogative sentences. It means in question, in making question, in interrogative sentences, as we do with other auxiliary verbs. We use modal verbs. It means we make question by themselves. For example, I can play the guitar. I can play the guitar. If you make this statement a question or interrogative. You don't need to use auxiliary. You just say, you bring the can here. Can I play the guitar? Can I play the guitar? How to use modals. How to use modals. As I told you, modal verbs in negative sentences do not need auxiliary verb. The structure is like this: subject plus modal verb plus not plus the verb plus the verb. The infinitive without to. Infinitive without to. This is the structure of modal verbs in negative sentence. Subject plus modal verb plus not plus verb. For example, you must not eat my food. You must not eat my food. Subject plus modal verb must plus not plus the verb. You must not eat my food. I cannot speak Italian. I cannot speak Italian. I is the subject, can is the modal, not is for negative, speak is the verb. Negative contractions of the modal. Must not become mustn't, mustn't. You remove the T. Might not, mightn't. You can see. May not, may not. It doesn't have a contraction. It doesn't have a contraction. Can, cannot, can't. Can, cannot, can't. Could not, couldn't. Could not, couldn't. Should not, shouldn't. Should not, shouldn't. Shall not, shan't. Will not, won't. Will not, won't. Would not, wouldn't. Would not, wouldn't. An interrogative sentence with modal verbs. It means making questions with modal verbs. As I told you, for making question, we also do not need auxiliaries. We bring the modal verbs to the front. Modal plus subject plus verb. For example, will you come tomorrow? Will you come tomorrow? Modal plus subject plus verb. Can I help you? Can I help you? Modal plus subject plus verb. Modal plus subject plus verb.